Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Oldham County Fiscal Court. I'm David Vogel, Judge Executive. We're happy to have all of you here today for our meeting, second meeting in the month, 15th of October. If you're able, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our clerk, Holly Prane, will now call the roll.
Magistrate Likens.
Here.
Magistrate Tice.
Here.
Magistrate Woosley.
Here.
Magistrate Jeffries.
Here.
Magistrate Hounds.
Here.
Magistrate Hawkins.
Here.
Magistrate Dye.
Present.
Magistrate Logston.
Here.
Judge Vogel.
Here. Having all members of the fiscal court present, this meeting is now in session. Is there a motion to accept the agenda?
So moved.
Judge, I'd like to make a change to the agenda, please.
All right.
Under committee reports and recommendations, if we can add closing of bank accounts.
All right.
I don't believe we had a second, Judge.
I'll second the agenda.
Okay. All right. All right. Thank you. Closing of bank accounts.
Plural.
Accounts. Okay. All right. We'll make that G sub 1, please.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Do you want to, all of us, or most of us, have some pink on today. Magistrate Hound suggested that everybody who was able to please do something in that regard. Do you want to refer to your request?
Thank you, Judge. So trying to do something different and try to bring awareness and have people see that the people that are behind this bench are just like everybody else out there in the world. And so a couple years ago, we talked about trying to do some different things, and one of them was wear pink. When I was in corporate America, we did it every Tuesday during the month of October, and it was kind of something that people jumped on, and we've had very good attendance. I made a joke. Everybody asked, what do I get for wearing pink? Thank you. But I decided that we would do lunch. We're going to do a blind draw for the members of the fiscal court staff, pull a name out, and have lunch with the magistrate. And I've gotten all kinds of interesting emails. Who's the magistrate they get to have lunch with? And I said, when I sent that out, I didn't send anything to the other magistrates. I didn't want to say have lunch with magistrates and then have some of my friends that are up here say, well, I'm not going to lunch with those people. So since that time, I've had several magistrates say, yeah, I'm happy to go to lunch. Are you paying? When are we going? Those types of questions. So appreciate everybody wearing pink in recognition of cancer and Breast Cancer Awareness Month to try to show that the court does care and about those kinds of causes. So thank you.
All right, thank you. And I'll be honest and say that I have absolutely nothing pink in my wardrobe, but I did get this little flower in the last hour and a half.
There you go. Thank you.
Try to hold up my head to this thing. So.
I thought you was going to the prom.
Yeah, right. Well, someone at Bloom's did ask me where I was going. I said, fiscal court. Well, it seemed like a strange answer to them, but said we've got a reason here.
That would be a nice addition when you do weddings to have a little boutonniere like that.
Well, it would be. It would be. Maybe I'll freeze it or do something. Okay. Well, now we'll ask. Did you call the agenda? So we'll move on to our first meeting. First thing we do here is public comment. Okay. Are we going to approve the minutes from the last meeting? Anyway.
So moved.
Second.
All right. Were there any corrections? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right. Thank you. All right. Becky Zockline, our public comment time, and we allow anyone who is not part of our normally planned agenda who's here today to wish to address the court, you're able to do so. And we generally allow up to 4 minutes. So go ahead, please.
Thank you, Judge. First of all, I want to thank all the people in Oldham County who came out to our household hazardous waste and electronics collection event on Saturday the 5th. It was a rousing success with 615 vehicles that we counted. percentage is still being tallied up, but I was very pleased with the response. And I received a very wonderful thank you note from one of the residents who drove through. She's, Miss Marie Pippinger writes, "To all who worked and organized the Oldham County Hazardous Waste and Electronics Collection, a very sincere thank you. It was so well organized. The people working were helpful and kind. It ran so smoothly. I also was grateful for the information."
Thank you. Given on the Oldham County Recycling Center. I have given lots of things to the recycling center, and the people that work are also helpful and kind. Thank you for your hard work. It's wonderful to live in a county that has pride for its work and want to help keep Oldham County beautiful. And then a PS, I also love the What's Happening newsletter that you send out. It is full of good information, and thank you for the time and effort spent on such an informative magazine.
All right, thank you. I think our hazardous household waste collection went very well. A lot of people came, and we have it every year in October. So thank you, Becky. Sheriff Wakefield. Yes, sir. Morning. Or it's afternoon, isn't it? So, so, up there.
On October 26th, the Sheriff's Office and the Oldham County Police are participating in National Drug Take Back Day. We will have 3 locations throughout the county, at the Kroger in LaGrange, and the Oldham County Police Department, and the Buckner Firehouse, LaGrange Firehouse in Buckner, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. It's a great opportunity for people to come and get rid of their old narcotics and medications and make sure they're disposed of properly by the DEA. I think last year we took in around 300 pounds of medication, so it'd be a great opportunity for people to take care of that. Secondly, it's October. If you haven't gotten a tax bill yet, you need to call us. You should have received it already. We don't want you to miss the discount, or even worse, go into the 5% and 21% penalty phases in January and February. So you didn't get off this time. You didn't get a freebie. Make sure you contact us if you haven't gotten your tax bill yet. So, all right. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to address the court here today?
Hello, Judge. Hello, everyone.
We ask you to state your name and address, please.
Yes, sir. My name is Smitty Smith, 7216 Sunset Lane. My real name is Michael Smith. Go by Smitty. And I'm here today to recommend Green River Waste as you make your considerations for garbage services in Oldham County. I'm a resident in Oldham County. I live in Crestwood. I've known Dave Jolly, one of the owners of Green River Waste, for about 6 years. He's a personal friend of mine, great friend of mine. I've also worked with Green River Waste on a professional side. I'm a general contractor. I've been in construction for several years and have used them multiple times. And want to speak very highly to Dave as an individual, but also Green River Waste as a company. Professionally, they are service-minded. They take care of people. They do the right thing, things that I value in any relationship I have in construction, but also just as individuals. I think that Oldham County would be served well by using a local company, family-owned and operated, and they live in Oldham County as well. I think that's a big part of Oldham County's success, is supporting local business and the people that come from Oldham County. So you have my strong endorsement of Green River Waste, and I hope that you guys select them as the trash provider for Oldham County. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Good afternoon. Hi.
State your name and address, please.
Yes, sir. My name is Natalie Van Klompenberg. I'm at 8508 Maple Avenue. I'm in Pewee Valley.
Okay, go right ahead.
I am here today to advocate for local businesses that truly reflect the values of our community. My friend and neighbor is Dave Jolly. And I follow all of the comments that Michael just made about him and his integrity and how he runs his businesses. I have been I've lived in Oldham County for 10 years. My family and I cherish the small town feel of our county, where personal connections and trust matter. And Green River Waste has built an excellent reputation for reliable service and community engagement. So I feel like that supporting Green River Waste means supporting a company that is a better representation of Oldham County. They are providing personalized service, and they are responsive to our community needs. So I say let's keep our community stronger by supporting local businesses such as Green River Waste.
All right,
Judge.
thank you.
Judge, would you spell your last name, please?
Yes, it's VANKLOMPENBERG.
I wouldn't have never got close.
I know, we go by the VKs. It's just much easier.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Judge, magistrates, my name is Jeremy Brown. I am an Oldham County resident at 12003 Spring Meadow Lane. It's in Goshen. I have the privilege of serving as an area director for an outreach ministry in the county called Young Life. I've been in here since 2021. Young Life has been making a tremendous impact in the community. We've taken over 350 students from North and South Oldham High School to our summer camp experiences and baptized 70 of them in the last 3 years alone. And Green River Waste and Dave Jolly, as the two folks before me have said, have been kind of grassroots supporters of our nonprofit's mission. And I share that to illustrate their high level of community engagement, their care for the community. Green River Waste, excellent customer service, certainly, but their leadership and care at the personal level and their ownership and leadership in Dave Jolly could not be to a higher level. So I wanted to also recommend Green River Waste as Oldham County's trash service provider.
All right, thank you. Anyone else who would like to speak to the court?
Judge, magistrates, my name is Dave Jolly. I live at 6408 Crossbrook Drive in Pee Wee Valley. And I want to play by the rules. I'm on the agenda, or trash is on the agenda a little bit later, but I also want to advocate for my own business. So I'd
All right,
just
go ahead.
go ahead and speak on. Thank you so much for including us in this opportunity to bid on the trash contract in Oldham County. It's been a very educational opportunity. It's been very challenging. And it's been good for our company just to be able to talk with you all and speak to our level of service. I know that a lot of times you all have a very difficult decision to make as magistrates and as a judge executive, but today we're going to let you off the hook and let you make an easy decision. Today you get to pick a company that can absolutely do the job in Oldham County. You get to pick a company that is absolutely owned and operated by a resident of Oldham County. And the icing on the cake is you get to pick the low bidder of this project. We were invited in to the process of selecting garbage companies with the Solid Waste Committee, and I was moved as a county resident at how Magistrate Dye wanted to protect our dollars as Oldham County residents. We all have to protect our dollars. We wanted to put forth a 10% franchise fee to give almost $1 million back to the county, and he said that this really was too much money to ask for the people. So we created a level playing field. We took the 10% franchise fee off and compared everybody's dollars. And when that happened, Green River Waste came out on the top or the bottom, however you want to look at it, as the lowest option. So what I think is best is that the dollars stay in the resident's pocket. A close second would be that the dollars stay in the county, but last would be that those dollars go to a large company and pad their profit margins. So I'm just asking today, as a resident and a business owner, that you would consider the lowest bidder, somebody that can absolutely do the job, and somebody that will answer the phone as a co-resident in Oldham County. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Is there anyone else who'd like to speak to the court? All right, seeing no one, we're going to close the public comment and go on to the next item on our agenda right now. And that is a check presentation from the Rogers Group. Carly Payton is here with two other individuals from the Rogers Group. For the last 3 years, I believe it's 3, and there's been 4 already. Time flies. The Rogers Group has sponsored a fundraiser for Oldham County Fiscal Court over at the farm, I believe it's called, in New Albany, skeet shooting. Had very good turnout every year. It's been a lot of fun for everybody that has shown up. And this year, I believe you have an amount. You've already presented it with us, and we cashed the check already. But I'll ask Carly to come and to speak to the donation.
Yes, Judge Vogel and members of Fiscal Court. On May 17th of this year, our 4th annual Rogers Clay Shoot. And let me introduce myself first. I'm Carly Payton. This is Thomas Wimsett with the Rogers Group, and we have Kevin McMurray with John Deere Equipment. And the reason why this is such a success is we have partners such as John Deere that help donate funds and donate to the actual shoot. But being our 4th year, this event has grown quite a bit, and we were able to raise $30,000 to present to Oldham County Fiscal Court. And we like to give back to our communities, and specifically with Oldham County Stone being right off of Highway 329. We wanted to be a good partner in the community. So the check actually got inadvertently mailed in a couple weeks ago, so it's already here in the accounting department. But it's been a great event, and it's growing each and every year. But I did want to recognize John Deere, who is our biggest sponsor of the event. For the 4th year, they donate $10,000 to help it make it a successful event. And so we wanted to bring them with us and to get some recognition, but I really enjoy it. Judge Vogel comes out to meet some of the participants as well, and it's been a great event. So,
our law enforcement people and EMS people, we really appreciate it. We bought drones for our search team. We bought jackets, additional bulletproof jackets for law enforcement, and we'll have more good items earmarked for this year. So
yeah, I believe that first year we had that picnic, and then a really nice the drone presentation was really sharp.
Did have the picnic, and so it's really been good, very helpful, and we appreciate it. And honestly, we get checks come in here, we don't let them sit around. We get them right into the cash them right away. So I thank John Deere for supporting the Rogers Group. And what I'm going to ask is, let's see here. I want to ask the magistrates to all come and stand here in my location, and we'll get Carly and his 2 guests to come and stand in the front. We'll get a good picture here of our group.
That'd be great.
Okay?
Thank you.
Come and, let's see, maybe stand right up here. Yeah, Jay McDowell, are you back there? I'm going to get Jay to take it. Okay.
That's why we
Holly will get the picture.
Right. That was incorrect.
Everybody come to the front.
Do you want this chair moved,
Well,
Judge? Can
yeah,
we
you
move
can
that
move-
chair?
Move the chair here.
Sorry. I'm always the one who's
Hang
doing
on
all
a second,
this.
Holly.
Holly, would you like us to scoot up closer to the table, or is this?
Yeah, maybe step forward.
Come forward a little bit?
Yeah.
Get everybody in there.
Yep. All right. 1, 2, 3. All right.
You only needed one? I'm always like, turn the phone this way. But Michael, that's why we had to meet again today, is because Stan messed that up.
How did he mess it up?
It's been a whole thing. That's why you didn't get it on time. That's why you didn't get this time. So just look at, did you get this one? This is the one.
Who did that one?
Holly and I. Becky and
Where's that one? I don't have that.
We'll go on to our next presentation today is from the Metropolitan Sewer District. We have an update here. Kevin Gibson and Wes Sindor are here from MSD. Kevin didn't get the word here that we were wearing pink today. He got a yellow tie, but Wes has got a green one, so that's okay.
I do love your, what is it?
Boutonniere. Yeah.
I didn't know if it's boutonniere.
Do we have another
We're not
gentleman
French
with you
up
here?
here.
that's- Okay, well, I didn't get, we want to introduce him too.
My name is Kevin Gibson with Louisville MSD. We're here to do a presentation and an update on what some of our successes here in Oldham County. With me today, I have Wes Sidnor. I have David Johnson's in the back, Joey Aspey, and Mr. John Lockley.
I'm going to ask you to project just a little bit because you're soft-spoken.
Well, Holly, did you get the PDF email or presentation to show on the thing?
Yes, but I printed it off for each, well.
We have a printed presentation here, but
In
you.
the side.
We'll get it up on the screen so everybody in the room can see.
There you go.
And while he's doing that, I'll just give a quick update on.
Speak in the
We
microphone.
need to speak right in the
Yeah,
microphone.
okay.
And we ask you to project so everybody
Yes.
in the room can hear.
Is this better?
Yes.
Okay.
That is better.
Hey, I'm Wes Sidnor. I'm the Chief of Government and Public Affairs for MSD. And at the front end of this, I just wanted to give a quick update on our interaction with the City of LaGrange. As many of you all know, City of LaGrange was building facilities to serve the Oldham Reserve area. Technically, that part of that area was in the MSD service area, the old OSEA service area, but in the interest of economic development and making sense for the county, we had a discussion with the City of LaGrange about transferring some of those assets that we had to those new facilities, and then also ceding areas to the City of LaGrange to allow that development to move forward. Happy to report that those assets have been transferred as of October 1st, and so that project is moving forward in terms of service to that part of the county. And so that's one that's it's rarely an opportunity to seed areas, and it's a benefit to your customer, which is you all, to us. But this is a situation where, again, it allows for economic growth, environmental benefit, and for that part of the county to be served by one way or form in terms of sewer facilities. And so happy to report that. I'll just pause there. I don't know if there are any questions on that.
Well, so you've
piece of
done
it.
some horse trading with the LaGrange Utilities, and I believe they now have the Moody Lane treatment plant. Is that right?
They have the Green Valley pump station, and then they have the Lakewood Valley
Lakewood,
treatment
yeah,
plant
yeah.
and that service area. So it was one of those situations where they came to us and they were saying, well, to serve this area, we would need to get permission to run a line basically right through the middle of some of these areas. And we had it was an opportunity for us to take a step back and look at, okay, what makes sense here? Does this really make sense to fight over territory when you're building these new assets? And then we could, take a package treatment plant offline, as well as, that pump station that actually drains to LaGrange today. And it would allow them to, sort of streamline their process to be able to serve that part of the county, which I know is a priority for the city and for the county. And so, is a situation where good government worked, where you got together and let's say what made sense, and being able to work that agreement out and get that done. So, there are no other questions on that piece of it, I'm going to hand it over to Mr. Leckley, who is also, by the way, an Oldham County resident. So.
Good afternoon. The projection probably won't be a problem here, so if I talk too
Okay,
loud,
good.
just let me know. I'm gonna give a few updates. I'm John Leckley. I am the Technical Services Director. I work at MSD. My group oversees the capital design and construction of the projects in the area. We did have a little bit of an agenda. Wes talked about the transfer update. Just real quick, the area facility planning update. We have, and are in the process of, when we acquire, part of the Division of Water is to have area facility plans for 20 years, how you will address the sewers in areas. We are in the process of submitting that. We will have that submitted to the state, first draft, by December. And our thought process was just to bring it up that we are, since we took over the area, we are working with the Division of Water to come up with our overall facility planning, and we would come back on our next quarterly update to you guys to give you a full update on that. But if there's any questions about that, that we plan to submit that draft in December. So just real quick, I'll do a couple updates. I won't be doing that. It worked real easy before, I know. So just some capital updates. They asked me to do some activities that are ongoing in Oldham County to help improve the infrastructure. And I thought just to throw in one slide, the timing is everything. This is actually the 1-year anniversary, October 2nd, 2023. The Ash Avenue flow was diverted and it is no longer a facility. It is successfully going to our Floyd's Fork Water Quality Treatment Center. It's a larger plant. It's handling the flow really well. And also in addition to that, Holly Gibson, some development in that area, was able to move forward and it is ongoing. So I just thought I'd throw it up real quick. One of the success stories has happened recently. The plant is gone. So some work that we're doing. First is Ohio River Service Area Lift Station Rehab. This is a project that we took over during the acquisition. This is to go out and it eliminates one pump station, the Club Drive pump station, which is located in this area. And it updates, improves, replaces 2 other pump stations, Cliffwood Drive and Cardinal Harbor. So Cliffwood Drive is here, Cardinal Harbor is this. This is in the northwestern part of the county. A little data on the project. This is, and I'll go through a little bit of the funding before, but this is an SRF loan. So we are getting that from the state to pay for this. It is needed because they're aging, outdated equipment. There are some safety and some access issues. We wanted to help with that and some reliability concerns. It's approximately 2,000 feet of sewer and all the pertinent work that is associated with that. We had been delayed on this project a couple of years because we had pretty significant easement acquisition issues. We finally have gone through all that. It is $1.5 million estimated construction. We are moving forward. We will bid this in November, bid opening December, and hope to have work starting around March. And the completion is May of 2026 to get all this work done. And I'm just going to go through these, but please at any time you guys ask questions. So another significant project we have, and this is part of our EPA federal consent decree projects that we have to do. It is the elimination of the Kavanaugh pump station. This is a pump station that has significant wet weather issues. If we have a decent rain event, the pump station cannot keep up with the flows that come into the system, so we do have overflows. So based on those sanitary sewer overflows, which are not allowed per the EPA, this is a project that is mandated. We are on schedule to get it done. Part of this project, I mentioned earlier the Ash Avenue plant elimination. The line that was built that came up to eliminate the Ash Avenue was sized for all this flow. So there was some planning in that. So this flow will go to the Floyd's Fork Water Quality Treatment Center. It's about a mile of sewer. The cost is a little under $10 million. I'd like to mention that based on Oldham County rates, pay for Oldham County work. MSC right now, we have about $6 million per fiscal year for work in Oldham County. And our 5-year total right now, we're about $5 million over. So that's why we're looking at things like SRF funding and different type of grants and stuff. but this is a significant project that'll take up a lot of the dollars in the next few years. It's $10 million in this area. While we put that in place, it will also allow for future eliminations, and I apologize for spelling, future eliminations of the Kavanaugh Center Pump Station, the Cherry Lane Pump Station, and to go in a little bit more detail, we want to make sure if we put a line in, so this is the sewer line, Kavanaugh, this is where it goes, the old Ash Avenue. But as you can see here, this area is sized for what could get to it for future flow and future unserved areas. So we want to go in there once, put the sewer line in, and then if flow capacity is needed, there is an outlet for that. And even though it's not connected, if budget becomes available, we even put in the Country Village treatment plant. So that interceptor also has capacity that if money is available to run a line from where that plant is, we could also eliminate that plant and get that offline. So this is the Kavanaugh area. Another project probably has a lot of interest is the KSR, the reformatory treatment plant upgrade. The current capacity that what it's permitted for is 1 million gallons a day. Staff struggles to get that. The plant, due to just, it is nothing wrong with the plant. It's just beyond its useful service life. The equipment needs to be upgraded. The electricals especially needs to be upgraded. It is a struggle to maintain that permit and to treat it at what needs to be treated to meet the permit. So this project will not only bring it up to date, repair some of the things that need to be done, but we're also going to add some future capacity. Right now, we're doing a study to look at expanding it to 1.2 to 1.5 MGD. The 1.5, it's pretty right on the edge that we are working with the state on that, and we're trying to get some of our waste load allocations going to 1.6. Just that one more number significantly changes the permit limits. Phosphorus, for example, significantly changes, which significantly changes the equipment needed, the dollar amounts and everything. So we are still looking at that range, the maximum up to 1.5 MGD. The limiting factor, like I said, is cost, and then the waste loading, the permit that we are allowed for the state on the receiving stream. This will get us a good 10 to 12 years once it's completed of capacity out at the site so that we can continue our planning on what we need to do for the future at the site. I do know that there's a lot of interest in this area. As I mentioned, we are currently in the alternative analysis phase to see what's going on. And then this has a cost estimate of $12.5 million, and this work will be completed by the summer of 2028. So when we hit 2028, the plant will be expanded and add that other 10 years onto that. And just to get a little history of where we are today, as I mentioned, it is a 1 MGD plant. Current average daily flows is about 650,000. So based on that, the available capacity for any future expansion out on that treatment plant is about 350,000. There is development additional approved request of a little under 200,000. So if you throw into that the capacity that's at the site, we still have some capacity. So we're at 151,000. We have had multiple meetings with not only the state, but also with the Department of Corrections. And for example, they gave us some numbers. They will have KSR. They said August of 2026. It might be toward the end of 2026. But the last time we met, we actually met last week. And I think it was about 869, 870 inmates plus 300 staff and stuff. The flow from that site that will be offline at August of 2026 is around 114,000 gallons a day. So that'll be added to this. So we're looking up all the numbers just to make sure we can do the best we can to ensure that there's capacity for the future, current, and intermediate future needs at this site. And then my last slide, just to show where is the rest of the money that goes out as part of the capital program. Unfortunately, we do have a lot of situations where we have what we call emergency projects, or they are failures in the system. And this is just a summary of work that we have done in Oldham County for fiscal year 24 and 25 on emergency projects. So you will see here a lot of them is the pump station force main repairs. Most of these have happened this fiscal year, so this summer. Unfortunately, when you have drought in the ground, We think one theory is ground shrinks, it contracts, and then when it expands again, it causes the shift, just like some people's foundations, and you have a lot of issues with the force main failure. So this is just a little part we also kind of like to bring up is that we're doing the best we can to go in and take care of any of the repairs or any of the issues that are going on. So that's the last that I have. Any questions or comments?
All right, Magistrate Hounds.
Interesting comment that you made about the additions to the lines, and you talked about being able to take on additional flow from currently unserved areas. I have a sewer line that runs through my property, and when they put the first one in, they said it would be 20 years. We said, okay. 12 years later, they came in and put the other line in. So, I mean, I guess I'm asking about the projections. They're better than they were before, or there been things that mine's the Crestwood sewer line that runs down through Orchard Grass and comes up through Rock Springs Farms and down Hounds Lane to Soar. That was supposed to have capacity. You're saying, though, with the new line, you'll be able to handle capacity that's in that shaded area, in those unshaded, or the brown?
Yes, just the shaded area. I cannot go back and what happened on past designs. I do know that when we put our sewer lines in, we size for what we call the ultimate condition, or what could be the ultimate build out based on the current planning and zoning regulations. So whatever it's zoned for, every square inch would build out, assumed that, and it's sized for that, plus another safety factor. So I will confidently say that the line that goes up to Ash Avenue is a 24-inch, and this is also another large interceptor line. So, and what I'm saying is that the line, the main interceptor that we're putting in place will be sized for the shaded area that could get to it by gravity. Now, will there be possibly another sewer project that would have to get from here to here to connect to it? Possibly.
Okay.
But the main, what I would call the main trunk or the spine of the system, we want to put that in place and do it once, and then not have to come back, as you just said.
Magistrate Logston.
Question, when you take off Kavanaugh and you're running down Cherry Lane, where will the trunk line go from when it hits Cherry Lane? Will it go up Cherry Lane? How are y'all going to run that down through there?
Well, the preliminary thought on that was, and I do not remember the name of the road that comes down. It's a newer road that it would preliminarily go down that road to tie into the interceptor. However, right now, due to budget concerns and stuff, we just wanted to make sure, as I mentioned, we had the capacity in that line for if that pump station can be eliminated in the future. We don't really have plans today, and we really didn't do a lot of detailed analysis of that. We just wanted to make sure we have the availability in the future if we need to. So,
are you going to run the line through Peavy Valley is what I'm asking?
I would say right now, the alignment to do that is still up in the air. The only alignment that we have settled on today is the line for the interceptor the main interceptor that comes down here. The line to get Cherry
How
Lane.
will it get from Kavanaugh to Ash Avenue?
The line that gets from Kavanaugh, I'm showing it, it's on the one printout. There's that, there's that one line, and I think it's green with it's right here. So it goes from, this is where Kavanaugh is, and it'll go down to where Ash Avenue is, and this is that interceptor. And we've acquired 17 of the 20 easements, and the other ones looks like we should have those easements very shortly too, and be able to bid this fall.
So if you, is it true that if a line's available in your area, you have to hook up to it?
That is a great question. I know in Jefferson County, that is the case. I personally am still learning about Oldham County. Yes. Kevin, can you repeat that? In Jefferson County, the answer would be yes. I'm still learning.
When OSEA had the sewers out here, it was 100 feet within the parcel, but it had to be an 8-inch or 10-inch gravity line. These are 24-inch interceptor lines. That's something we still got to investigate and see how that plays out.
Because Pee Wee Valley will have they'll go through the roof.
I didn't think necessarily we were going through Pee Wee Valley.
We're going through Pee Wee Valley.
Pee Wee Valley.
Well, that's why I'm wondering, when you
That
go
there's-
from
that line
Kavanaugh
doesn't-
to
that doesn't
Cherry,
go through the city.
how are you going to get over to Ash Avenue where they took the plant up?
It
It's not going to go through Maple, it's not going to go through Ash Avenue,
It's
down
an
to
interceptor.
the plant down there.
That's not going through city limits of Pee Wee Valley.
Okay, that's all, that's my only question.
Yeah, it'll go on the outside. It must not go on.
Okay. Thank you.
Further clarify, we would, barring another agreement that we don't have in place today, barring another agreement that we don't have in place today, we wouldn't be able to do that with PA.
Yeah,
in Pee Wee Valley's city limits. We don't have an agreement with them to
Okay.
even do that.
An interlocal, probably. Interlocal.
I apologize. I missed. I didn't 100% understand the question, so sorry about that. Yeah, we aren't touching or participating with anything in Pee Wee Valley. We don't have that interlocal agreement to do anything with them. If they want to, we'll talk with them. But
I don't think that's gonna
I know the
probably
answer to
won't
that.
happen.
I know the answer to that. Being an Oldham County citizen.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Did I understand you correctly that you're working, expanding the KSR plant?
Yes, sir.
Okay, why would you be expanding the plant while the prison is intended to be closed in the next couple of years and you're
Well,
shipping people out?
There's additional development, like the intersection, exit 17, exit 18. There's a lot of development that's still going on in the area that goes to this plant, in addition to what's going on at the
Okay.
the prison.
Okay, so the prison plant serves a lot
Commerce
more,
Parkway.
more than the prison, okay.
Yeah, Commerce
All right.
Parkway, that'll all go to this treatment
Okay.
plant.
Okay. All right. And the,
East Oldham and Locust Grove also go to the KSR plant. Oh, sorry. Does the KSR plant also handle Locust Grove and East Oldham Middle School on 22?
I don't think so.
Okay.
The East Oldham Pump Station and school was part of the Lakewood transfer to
Okay.
LaGrange.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Clark, Stan Clark came in. Do you have any questions? You were very closely involved with the negotiations 3 years ago where we closed our Oldham County Sewer Service and folded into MSD. Do you have any questions for MSD when they're here today?
No questions. An expansion of KSR is long overdue.
Okay, right. I believe we're just, it was July 1, I believe, was our anniversary date for the third year. And from my perspective, everything has gone very well. I think we've been very pleased with the service. We've had a minimal number of complaints, I mean, if any, and we all know the utilities are subject to, anybody that, when you work across the county, not everybody's going to be happy with everything all the time. But I think things have gone well from our perspective here, and I hope they have from your perspective as well.
Yes, thank you. And I would like to say wonderful partnership. It's been all my involvement has been a great relationship.
Right, and we did negotiate, I believe, about a 6-year, 7-year, it wasn't exactly a moratorium on rates, but it's going to take a multiple number of years for the Oldham County rates to actually even out with Jefferson County rates.
That's correct. Yeah, it's going to be a number of
We've
years.
got several
before that
more years
happens.
to go
Yes,
before,
yes.
so we thought we created a good advantage for Oldham County ratepayers.
Yeah, and we were excited when we came in to provide that discount off of existing rates, and then to build that slower ramp up to eventually even out. And I'll just say for the MSD team, first of all, thank you to the judge and the fiscal court for allowing us to come in today. This has been a tremendous partnership for us. From our perspective, we are so happy to be up here. And, if there are ever any needs that you all have, if you have constituent needs, I know that you all know how to get a hold of Kevin. But I will speak for the team that we are always available, and we want to provide that level of service to you all, and we really value being up here, and so thank you.
All right, thank you.
Judge, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Some of these maps, I'm not necessarily familiar exactly where, because they're small, but I get a gist of what you're doing. But with the removal and consolidation, what all you're doing, are you opening up areas that it could be for development that wasn't even on anyone's radar just a few years ago? And are we basically you can't do anything without sewers. So is there more land adjoining these lines that you're putting in? Would add to. I'm not just saying just residential building or commercial or anything.
Yeah, I think that I'll answer this a couple ways and then let my colleagues jump in on this. But I think anytime that you are taking facilities that are overburdened and in need of upgrade and that have in many ways outlived their useful life, and you're finding ways to consolidate and do regional solutions, I think with those extra added capacities, there's those opportunities to enable more growth. Now we're not in the business of making growth happen, but we are an enabler. So if the county as that authority over development and planning for the county, if there's an area that all of a sudden can be served and you will, as a body, decide that this is somewhere you want development to happen, then we're going to do whatever we can to make that accessible to you all. So I think that opportunity is always there when you have.
So by fixing and correcting the sins of the past, you're going to have facilities that were overburdened, as you say, can be under capacity, underutilized. And if somebody wanted to put something over here, it would be their responsibility to get their sewage from their property over to your line.
Yes, that's correct.
I know you all don't build any sewer lines for anybody else. I mean, I went through that out in Fern Creek when you sued Fern Creek, so I get all of that.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
Very good.
Do you have another question?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Just for clarification, so I understand, an interceptor line you would not have a direct connection to an interceptor line or a force main, correct? So if a neighborhood.
Yeah, typically that's not our practice.
You would not have a direct connection to a force main because that is a line under pressure.
Right, okay.
And you wouldn't do that. An interceptor, if it ran through a property and a house was within 100 feet of it, yes, a person could tie into an interceptor. More than likely the manhole if it's close to there. But yes, you could have connection to the interceptor because, again, it's just a larger gravity line.
Okay.
So there's not a problem with that. You would not have a direct connection, a gravity connection to a pressured force main.
Can you connect to a force main? How would you, not getting a whole bunch, can a neighbor connect to a force main would that be a?
No.
No, okay, that's fine.
I would say
it's
no.
curiosity, it's okay, it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, well, thank you for coming out. I did notice that Wes used a preposition here a minute ago that caught my ear. You said that we're happy to be up here. Most of the time, people refer to us as out here, but we're glad that you think it's coming up here. So, okay. All right, guys. Thank you. We'll see you next year or so. All right. Thank you very much. Time to pay the bills when we're ready.
Motion to pay the
Judge,
bills.
I'll make the motion that we pay the payables.
Second.
All right. Any questions on any payables here? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Motion carries. Under contracts and resolutions, solid waste infrastructure recycling grant application.
Judge, how about budget
transfers.
transfers?
Did I miss one? Sorry.
Yep.
All right.
So
Sorry,
we-
Becky.
But
Pat, you're up. Becky, I called you up too soon.
Oh, I thought you were doing the grant,
Pardon?
the grant resolution?
You have to do the budget transfers first.
Budget.
Oh, sorry.
We got budget transfers here. I jumped the gun on you.
Good afternoon, members of the court. As you guys know, I'm a MSD guy. I spent 12, 13 years down there, and I would be remiss if I can't just take a moment to recognize our crew out here. David Johnson's probably one of the best chief engineers I ever worked with. John Lockley, as you can tell, if it's capital related, he knows it. Wes Sidnor, he's an ambassador for MSD. I worked with him quite a bit. Joey Ashby, planning and zoning man, worked a lot with him. And Kevin Gibson, I worked with his wife for a long time too. She retired. She was great as well. So good to see you guys. Heartfelt. Miss you guys. Okay, so we met in Finance Committee just earlier. We have 11 budget transfers totaling $47,311.91 for your approval.
All right.
Judge, this did come through Finance Committee, and it did pass Finance Committee. I'd like to make a motion that we approve the budget transfers of 47,211.91.
I'll second that.
Questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
All right, Becky.
Thank you, Judge. I'm excited to request the fiscal court's permission to allow you to sign a grant application, or for us to submit a grant application to the US EPA for what's called, commonly known as the Swiffer Grant, the Solid Waste Infrastructure for Recycling and for improvements in recycling. And we want to use these funds, which are as little as $500,000 to as much as $5 million, to move our recycling facility from its current location to our current maintenance lot and buildings behind the existing recycling center. We would also improve our chances of being awarded this grant, which we'll be competing nationally, by partnering with Trimble County. And because it would improve our chances of getting this award. We would be the administrator of the grant when we would assist them in working together to start up a recycling center there in Bedford and throughout Trimble County. But it'd be two independent programs working from the same budget. And I've already met with Trimble County officials to try to get this started and going. But I'm asking the court to approve whether or not we should apply for this grant.
Judge, I move that we approve, or that we
Okay.
accept this grant proposal that you can sign.
Second.
Judge, would you like me to elaborate? This came through Environmental Recycling and Utilities Committee, and it's recommended to the fiscal court that we accept this and allow the judge to also accept it if the grant gets awarded.
Are you seconding the motion?
If there wasn't, I was just saying it came through ERU
Pardon?
2 weeks ago.
Was it second? All right.
Question.
All right, so would you explain again why we would build something in Trimble County?
We're not building it in Trumbull County. Trumbull County would be building it. But the grant, project itself would include their operation. They would work on their portion, we would work on our portion.
So how would this funds be split then?
Only one entity, if there are two entities or multiple entities involved, only one entity can administer the grant.
Would you need
That would be us?
Yes.
Do you need an interlocal
Would we be
agreement?
responsible
We would need
for?
We would need an interlocal agreement, yes.
Trimble County's compliance with the grant?
Yes.
I don't,
Magistrate Hawkins?
I don't remember the Trimble County part in ERU. Did we talk about that? And I just don't remember.
Can't remember.
Okay. I remember you were going to meet with them this week, or maybe it was
Yes,
late
I met
last
with
week.
them
Okay.
yesterday.
Okay. And did you meet with their judge executive? And
No, he was
okay.
not able to make it, but I met with their solid waste coordinator.
Is the intention then to, you're already kind of planning to include Trimble County in this?
They would write their portion of their plan and ways that we could assist them and we could
Yeah.
work together. We are already, through our recycling equipment and education grant that we get from the state every year, we're able to gift Trimble County with our 30-yard dumpsters that we collect cardboard in, because we now have new cardboard containers. So those were purchased with, I think, the same type of grant money. So they have to be given away. We can't sell them.
Major Logston?
So Rebecca, so this would be like, just like the city of Pee Wee Valley or the city of Crestwood piggybacking on our asphalt bids that we get. So basically, you're just pulling two projects to get a cheaper rate, is that?
It's to increase our probability of being awarded.
Right.
Because the part of the guidelines, part of the points that we would get would be increasing recycling in a low-income community.
So I guess I'm okay with this as long as it doesn't cost the county any money. And we have an interlocal agreement that our county attorney says it's okay to do it. So-
There's no match for this at all.
Okay.
All right, we have a motion and a second on the floor. Is there any further discussion about this? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Is there anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. The Old LaGrange Bike and Pedestrian Trail Project Agreement, Belinda Demas.
Good afternoon. This is an agreement between the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet and the Oldham County Fiscal Court authorizing $555,000 in federal funds for the Old LaGrange Road Trail Project right-of-way phase. The federal funds will require a match of $138,750, and this project is included in the 2025 fiscal year budget. The Old LaGrange Road Trail will run from North Camden Lane to the Kentucky 329 bypass, and then onto the intersection with Kentucky 146, where it will connect with the existing sidewalk. So that's right there by McDonald's. And we are asking fiscal court to allow Judge Vogel to sign the agreement.
Judge, I'll make that motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion on this project. Magistrate Tice?
Linda, could you? We did something about 5 years ago, and it takes me back to something very similar to this on the old LaGrange Road. Can you tell me if it was the same thing or how it relates to being something similar to this?
Are you talking about the trail project? This is probably the same project that you're thinking of. Design phase took a long time due to trying to figure out the utilities and working around the railroad track.
So it was a design phase? at
That was the
point.
design, and now we're ready to move into right-of-way.
How much was it for the design? Were we awarded?
tell
It-
you.
You don't have to look it up exact. Give me a round number.
$56,250.
Okay.
How much, please?
$56,250 per the document that is in our packet. That was the local match.
56,000.
Yeah, that's our part.
Yes, 281,000, 250,000 is the total for the design.
Seems like the one I'm trying to recall was more money than that. Or was that just the first phase of this process
I
going
can't
forward?
think of anything else we've done on Old LaGrange in that area, so I think you probably are thinking of the design phase.
And I could be wrong. And now we're looking for little over $500,000.
So that's for right-of-way. Now, we won't necessarily spend all this money because when you program right-of-way funding, it includes acquisition, it includes sort of permanent and temporary right-of-way, the acquisition of those, and then you also have to add funding for potential legal fees, and the cabinet requires that because we could end up being sued by any of the parcel owners, and so we program the money just in case we would have to pay to go to court. In my years here, we've never actually had to go to court over a right-of-way parcel, but it could happen, so they do ask us to program that.
Over the last several years, I assume we did pay the design, our part on the designer, so we're past that point. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Design phase, would there be something that we could see what the design is? Or is that something that would be, when you
Sure,
say
I
design?
I have the plan set in the office that I could share with you if you wanted to come by. I'd be happy to let you see that.
What that's going to look like?
Yeah, absolutely.
And now we're talking about right-of-way, acquiring
Correct.
the right-of-way.
Right. So we'll have some temporary easements during construction, and then we will have some permanent easements for where it will be built.
Okay, and our part of this is something like $100,000 and some odd thousand.
$138,750. Okay. But again, that would be if we spent all of the money, and chances are we will not. Right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Magistrate Hawkins.
Belinda, when we were talking about this before, and I'm remembering what Magistrate Tice was remembering as well, we also talked about would it cost less or be a little bit less invasive to go on the other side of the street rather than the railroad side of the street.
Right. We are not on the railroad side.
Okay,
We are
that's
on the
what
other
was
side.
ultimately
Correct.
decided. Okay, and then I wanted to just state that I'm going to support this because one of the main things when asking the constituents about the health or just what would you like to see in Oldham County, it's connectability, and I feel like this helps connect the different cities and communities with each other. So I'm going to support this.
Great, thank you.
All right. Anyone else? We have a motion on the floor and a second to support this, going ahead with this right-of-way project. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Is there anyone opposed?
Aye.
All right, motion carries 8-1. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next thing on the agreement here is a Charter Communications franchise agreement. We've advertised for this, had one responder that was Charter already here. This agreement is such that it's required by the Federal Communications Commission for these types of companies to go in the right of way and do this. We've had it for, I guess, the last 10 years, maybe 20. I'm not exactly certain, but this is a renewal. There were a couple of changes put in the renewal, but Mr. Baxter looked at them and passed on them, didn't think they were significant, I guess. And so there's no money out of pocket for us on this, but we do give them permission to go in the right of way and expand cable service that they have there now. So is there a motion to approve this?
So move.
Second?
I'll second, Judge.
Pardon?
Second.
All right. Go ahead.
Just a question. Does this have anything, any effect on our current agreement, with AT&T or,
No.
their access to? Okay.
Has no agreement on anything that is out there now. This is just strictly a renewal of the Spectrum, Charter, whoever they were before that.
Right.
We've had this cable service here for a long time. I actually, when it came up, I said, why do we even need this? We've surpassed it. Everybody has high-speed access availability at their house, but I was told that the Federal Communications Commission requires this type of agreement to be on file. And so It's no money from them, and no, we used to require them to have cable service to people if you lived within a certain amount of territory. You couldn't, if you had 20 houses in a mile, they had to provide cable service. That's no longer the case because it's been surpassed by broadband.
Right.
But,
Okay.
so,
Thank you.
Magistrate Hawkins?
May I ask the county attorney, I didn't have a cover sheet in my packet with your signature. Did you review it and you're okay with it?
I did review it, and I sent it in late today. I didn't have a chance to get to it, but yes, I reviewed it. And in fact, initially, I just got presented with a contract, but because it's a franchise and the state constitution requires certain things, that's why we had to rebid it. And so Mr. Clark got that rebid, he published it, and Stan, you sent me an email about when he published it in the paper, and it was on the county's website, and this is the only bid that we got.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Any other questions on this? All right. So all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. All right. Now we're down to CNS Manufacturing's tax incentive resolution. David Bazanis is here. And happy birthday, David, I'm told. Appreciate the cake that you brought.
Yes, thanks very much. I appreciate it. It's a great birthday present today to be here to be able to speak in support of the CNS Manufacturing project. As you know, this is a project that Fiscal Court and our office has been working on for the last several years. A couple of weeks ago, the KEDFA board, the Kentucky Economic Development Finance Authority, approved CNS Manufacturing for approximately $1.5 million in incentives. As part of that incentive package, that will come along with them constructing a $15 million state-of-the-art facility and bringing over 100 jobs, good-paying advanced manufacturing jobs to Oldham County. We have a participation in that incentive program, which in your packets has the resolution that is the last official act before we make this formal announcement. We meet with Ryan and Megan Steele, the owners of the company, on Friday to plan the ribbon cutting, which we're looking forward to celebrating very publicly. So I'm happy to answer any questions.
You need a motion?
Yes, there's a motion that we approve this agreement with the CNS Manufacturing, basically, so that everyone understands. County does not have an occupational tax, and we're willing to rebate the entire insurance premium tax and portions of the Oldham County Fiscal Court property tax for up to 10 years in support of CNS Manufacturing locating here. This is all subject to CNS Manufacturing maintaining compliance with Kentucky Business Incentive Program criteria.
Correct.
So as long as they do what they're expected to do, we'll do what we expect to do to allow them to build here and employ people in this county.
Judge, I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All right. Questions?
Happy birthday, David.
Thank you.
The judge said that we're giving up the property tax. Can you, we've discussed this several times, can you give the court the other side of the equation, how much money it will be in the end when this all works out?
Yes, I'd be happy to do that. This was not a slam dunk of a project. We have a lot of things that were working for us with it. This is an Oldham County native. This is a third generation business, and it's kind of a homecoming from Jefferson County for this project. The land that was under consideration for the project is a vacant piece of land, and so currently generates for Oldham County Fiscal Court approximately $1,044 a year in property tax revenue. Throughout the 10-year property tax incentive period, so that is while Oldham County is gradually turning up the property tax revenue from CNS Manufacturing. Through that course of time, we will have 5 times the amount of revenue from this project, and then once we are out of the 10-year period and we are receiving the full amount of the property tax, it will be 10 times the amount, so approximately $10,875 a year. So the same happens with the school property tax as well. Those impacts are significant. And again, we're bringing high quality jobs here, a partnership with our school system, and just an all around great economic development project.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, seeing no further questions on this resolution to grant this tax abatement.
A rebate.
A rebate, all right.
Correct.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, David.
Thank you.
All right, happy birthday. Next item here is the Solid Waste Franchise Award. And Magistrate Hawkins.
Today we have an award for the solid waste franchise agreement, and this is for the bids that we received. We received 6 bids from 3 different haulers, and we met the day after we opened the bids, and then we also met for a meeting 2 weeks ago for Environmental Recycling Utilities Committee, and then we also met again this morning. And we take in about 15 or so factors when deciding this, and we've mulled over these bids for hours by ourselves and then as a committee. So based on these factors, several, about 15, which included the use of dumpsters for things like natural disasters or community cleanup events, et cetera. Cost was one. Current service that we're receiving, were there negligible or an overwhelming amount of complaints, and there wasn't. So for about 15 factors that we took into consideration, we would like the court to accept the bid from Republic One on your sheet here. And I'll make that into a motion that we accept the Republic One bid today.
Second.
Moved and seconded. We accept the Republic One bid franchise agreement. Discussion? Is there any? Magistrate Woosley?
Magistrate Hawkins, did your committee take into consideration the price? Because we're looking at another bid that was lower, and then the fact that they were a local company. Did your committee take that into consideration?
Yes, sir. We took so many things into consideration. There were actually 2 companies that placed bids that are local or regional. And we mulled over that quite a bit. The price, the difference after 5 years was about $3 difference, 3 to 4, depending on which ones you're looking at, over the course of a year. And so for that reason and so many other factors, that's how we came with Republic One. And so.
Magistrate Jeffries.
Yes, sir. Just a quick question on, I've had some folks ask me about the 20 years, versus, the contract length and how that works. And can you all elaborate a little bit about, it's not truly a 20-year contract, it's a 5-year contract, correct?
Sure, yeah. So according to the KRS, a municipality cannot go over a 20-year franchise agreement with any one company. We're at the end of a 5-year contract, so the end of the 5-year portion, which is the 4th portion of a 20-year current franchise agreement that we are under. After every 5 years, we reassess, and so this is sort of starting over a new 20-year franchise agreement, and this will be the start of the first 5 years. We'll renegotiate and come back in 5 years and kind of see where we're at, and then kind of go from there.
So I guess my question would be is if at the end of that 5 years, if there's another company or multiple companies that wanted to bid, would they have an opportunity to bid on a contract?
Well, I think it would depend on a few things. One of the things would be how is it going between the relationship?
Okay.
Is the relationship still an amicable one? Are they still doing a good job for the county? Are we still happy with them? Are they still happy with us? And then we have the ability to reassess.
That's all, Judge.
All right, are there any other questions?
And may I say,
Yes, go right ahead.
Just to make a statement, and I've gotten to really know Chris and David, and of course, we know the Republic guys already. They've all put just an incredible amount of effort and energy and time and resources into just submitting the best bids that they could. And they came to the meeting the next day where we really, as the saying goes, they watched us make the sausage. And it was, I don't know, I don't remember how long we were there for, but it was an hour, could have been 2. I think it was, you remember? Anyways, it was quite a bit. And then we've done this on our own. I know they've reached out to us to kind of gather clarification on some things. And so I just don't want anybody to think that we've taken it lightly or that we've haven't seen the effort put forward. And we just appreciate just the love and grace that has been given by our bidders as we've kind of mulled through this process kind of tediously.
Anyone else? All right, I've got a motion on the floor in the second to accept Republic bid number 1.
Yes.
That's right. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. All right, thank you. Next item on the agenda here is the recommendation from the Opioid Review Committee for Oldham County Health Department allocation for them and for digital signs. So I will go through that unless, Kevin, you want to go through that? I'll go ahead.
Sure, I can do that. I was asked this morning to chair the opioid settlement committee meeting, and we had 3 groups that came in and presented to us today. And what we came up with, the health department program presentation that they made, they are asking for, it's a program, or I guess a website called Credible Mind. The cost on that for the first year is $13,500. The subsequent years is $11,500. Number 2 request was a law enforcement training of $9,020 to send some of their folks to be trained, or law enforcement folks to be trained. It would be, like I say, $9,020. The number 3 request was promotion of a 988 crisis prevention line. That total cost was $31,085. And their 4th request was modify existing social host ordinance to include marijuana and other illicit drugs at $2,830. We also had a request for 2 digital signs, new digital signs. I think everybody's familiar with those. They're kind of different parts of the county. I know one down at Buckner, and they would be a cost of $50,654, and LaGrange downtown, $50,654, and sign installation of $28,000. So that was the requests that were voted on this morning by the Opioid Settlement Committee for the Fiscal Court's consideration today. This program has been set up by settlements of the opioid dollars that the companies have been putting into, and this is, I believe, a 20-year program. So, Judge, I believe we've got $848,000 in our.
I think it's $814,000.
$1,000, and that's going to be added to, and then there's interest on top of that. So, there's a very strict requirement from the state as to what can be paid for out of those dollars. And these particular requests right now are, from what we understand, fall under those requirements.
Right.
So that would be the recommendation that came through the opioid settlement committee, and I would move that we accept these as the first request for these opioid settlement dollars.
Second.
Judge, question.
We've got a motion and a second. Discussion. Manager Logan.
Yes, sir. I believe in our committee system, so I will vote for this, even though I don't know who Credible Minds are or law enforcement training or anything else. This was just brought up today, so I think it's a little premature to go along with this. But I do, I am going to vote on it with some clarification. On this digital signs, and I would ask the county attorney this question. Since this money is for a settlement, will those signs only be able to use for like drug enforcement notifications or anything that have to do with some kind of settlement? I mean, you just can't put school closed tomorrow on a sign that was paid for by some opiate money, can you? I mean, it should be used for that process, right?
I've spoken with the CAECO people about this. These signs are completely within the parameter of what is authorized. We'll use the signs for promotion of anti-drug messages to kids and adults, and there's all kinds of things within the entire scope of what is in the opioid settlement program that need promotion, communication, so forth. So that won't be exclusively that. We're able to incorporate it into what we're doing now as part of our message system. So the CAECO people have assured me that is well within the parameter of what can be done, and so I accept that. It's just like what we're asking here for the health department. Some of their things are in what's happening. Okay, some of the money that they want is to promote their message within what's happening. There's a lot of other messages and information within the what's happening distribution we put out twice a year, but part of it is from the health department. So there isn't a it's just it's like we funded if you remember, Operation Parent, tried to have a program to encourage kids to come and learn, but they didn't just sit there and learn. They played games, had free food. There was a lot of other, let's say, material mixed into the ingredients. So to bake the cake.
I get what you're saying. I just want to make sure that you're able to do something else with that, not just.
We are.
For yeah,
Lauren,
I just want to make sure that we're not going to get in trouble and have to pay the money back because we didn't use 50% of it went to something else instead of 50% going to keeping people off drugs and letting the kids know what to do, what not to do. So
I understand. Manager Hawkins.
Do we have a motion?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, and we have a second?
Yes.
And is it all one, including the digital signs?
Yes.
Or can we take it separately?
You can break it out if you can make a motion if the motion maker will agree to let you do it.
I'd like to have the health department motion, and then the digital sign motion is two different motions.
I think I would like to just keep it as one motion.
All right.
And who does this person who
Manager
seconded that have to
Tice?
agree?
Yes, Judge. I remember when we were doing the digital signs earlier.
Can't hear you, Wayne.
Is your mic on?
I'm sorry. I remember when we were doing the digital signs earlier, we had some concerns about 146 Jefferson Street and First Street. We've had the signs up at Buckner and 42. Do we have any concerns still with the sign being placed at that location? And I'd just like to have some kickback. I know the judge was in favor of it then, and I'm sure he still is now. And is there any positive or negative? Is there any thoughts on it?
We haven't had any incidents with any sign anywhere. We've got 2 of them out there. There've been no traffic circumstances related to them. You know, obviously I can't guarantee something wouldn't happen anywhere, but, you know, the roadways are full of messages everywhere. So, you can't hang it on one thing. As you go up and down the road, everybody in town's got a sign out on the road that you can look at, and sometimes people are standing out and waving and doing all kinds of things. So, you know, I can't say it's impossible, but I think it's unlikely. If it turned out to be a problem, we'd have to move it, you know, but I don't think it would be. Measured hounds.
A couple things, Judge. Yesterday, we had the OCD board meeting, which is an advisory committee, and we talked about, Director Glass brought up this 988 crisis prevention line. I think that I know there was conversation about how that can help with some of the runs, calls for service that the police are making. I don't know what the promotion is of this, but I would encourage whatever this is, that it is also folded in with what we talked about with the police department and dispatch yesterday. I'd hate for us to be going in 2 separate directions or not working together on a process.
Okay. Well, I believe that it's the same thing. They're bringing it up, and I mean, honestly, before the health department brought out the 988, I couldn't have told you what it was. And I think I'm a fairly knowledgeable person in this community as to what's happening. So I think there are literally probably thousands of people out there you could ask today that have no idea what 988 is. Go back to digital sign. We've got a chance to hammer things out there at people to let them know this is a crisis line, 988. We used to have 812 some time ago. I don't know whatever happened to that. Was I don't know. I don't know whose line that was, but no one in the county government. I'll say if dispatch is promoting it.
No, I'm not saying
it's news
Judge,
to me,
not,
but
no,
I don't think anybody here is promoting 988.
No, sir. I'm not saying that anyone's promoting. It was brought up as an option of something to look into to help for calls for service for the police department. And what came out of that meeting was the sheriff and the chief agreed that it would be something that they would like to further explore to help with those calls for service that may not necessarily need a police officer. And I guess my point is, if we're going to promote something, let's make sure we're promoting it all across the board and not single source. And
right. I mean,
I'm not. Director Glass brought this up yesterday and had a pamphlet about it in a seminar that he attended. That was only the second time I've ever heard of it, but just I don't want to go down and we're doing a single source.
Sure, we could hire somebody and use these funds as a resource person for our law enforcement to be able to call on to respond to those situations. I believe this line, though, is at least partially, it's not a 911 number, it's a 988 number, and I think if you're stressed out, you're calling this number, you're encouraged to call it and talk to somebody who is a counselor or can talk you down from maybe, making a big mistake. Come on, Bo, am I right or wrong?
I apologize, Bo. I wasn't trying to throw you under the bus.
I figured it was coming. No, honestly, Judge, what had took place over the last maybe couple weeks I attended Kentucky Emergency Service Conferences, learned a lot more about 988. I've really only pulled a top layer off of this, but the perspective I was bringing in is that it's an option for dispatchers to possibly send a call where there's no obvious damage, threat of harm, or injury, to a resource that could better handle that situation than having a police officer go out. And not that police officers and dispatchers are not capable of doing things, but in certain situations there's more capable people to handle a mental health situation, again, with no obvious injury or threat of harm or anything like that. So what I brought before the committee yesterday was to even put before the police, is this something that you would like to experiment, have 988 come in and take a look at? Because if it wasn't something they didn't want to get into, then I wasn't going to take it any further. I was unaware of the health department being involved in this or anything like that. So I'm not trying to circumvent anybody. It was just my approach to it.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to back the bus over
Yeah,
top.
no.
There'll
We're
be a
good.
time for that.
Oh, I'm sure. More times?
No, I agree. Okay, well, that just shows that clarification and discussion brings out what you're talking about. In other words, 988's a number that anyone could call. But if
Absolutely.
you get a call at 911 that appears to be someone who needs a 988 response, then why can't you patch through to 988 and say, here's a counselor or here's somebody right here, if it's a doesn't need a law enforcement response, but it's somebody that can't sleep at 3:30
Yeah,
in
and
the
this
morning.
is just not something
whatever.
that a dispatcher would take, they would be trained. There's actually an MOU between 988 and the county signed with the law enforcement, possibly EMS as well, because they could be involved. So it's not just something to, hey, next week we're going to start this. There's things to look at and take in consideration. But there are other counties and regions in the area that are already doing this.
I don't think the health department is trying to, they're just raising the issue of this service being available and wanting to be involved in promoting it. And they did bring the idea of having our law enforcement people attend a couple of days seminar, maybe magistrates go. We have funds available to try to raise solutions, communicate with people, follow through in different ways, and we're struggling in a way to find equitable and reasonable ways to use these fees.
Sure.
Dispatch could use some money. Bo
Well-
would take some more money.
Oh, it's got to be opioid. It's got to have
We
some guy.
can do that.
I
We-
understand. I don't think you can use your normal budget money for it.
I'm-
It's got to be
I'm
something
being
different. No?
Look, I just have one more thing.
Okay.
Judge, you make me laugh sometimes because we've had this discussion about these signs on multiple occasions, and it just seems like the top portion of this, the health department request, while I don't understand all of them, I understand. I mean, I'm sure that the health department has done their research, and those are amicable expenses. I get that the digital signs also, someone has said that they will fall into the category that can be used, but I don't know. I just think that for
Not someone, Lauren Carr, who was Keiko's
I get it. Okay.
opioid expert. Not someone.
Okay.
Someone who's an expert.
Okay. But the same thing with the signs when we put the signs in, or you put the signs in, one of them we didn't want to do, and you pulled your executive order out and struck with a pin, we got the second sign. And
Hey, forget, if you don't want to do them, let's vote it down. Let's forget it. We get all kinds of people that call that want to be on these signs. People are seeing these messages. I think they're useful. We have a way of achieving this without dipping into our county budget directly to get it. If you don't want these things, fine. Let other people come up with the idea, ways to spend this money.
Well, that's what I thought the committee was.
Well, that's what it is, but I took the people who signed up to be on the committee.
Agreed. I didn't
not
sign up.
those who didn't sign up.
I didn't sign up.
So,
I didn't sign up.
I don't want to argue about this. If you can't stand the idea of communicating with people in this way, let's forget it. I'll drop the ball. I'll drop it. I think it's a good way. People are asking to be on these signs. I've got a lot of positive response off them, but if I have to fight half the court to do something basically for nothing. We got $800,000 sitting here. I'm not asking for half of it. I'm just a portion of it to expand something. If Mike don't want to do it, vote against it if you don't want it. I don't want to fight it. I've got other things to do.
Judge, I have a question.
Okay.
Can I ask it?
Sure.
Okay, so I figure, this is going to be about $197,243 if we approve this. how much money will we have left? And can you explain to the public, this is not just this pot of money. This is going to be coming in for the next 10 years,
Yeah,
right?
we've got 20 years.
20
We've
years?
got-
Okay, I thought it was 10
Yeah,
years.
we've got 18 years. The state of Kentucky is going to get $478 million, and it's $239 million divided among 120 counties, not equally, proportionally. I don't know exactly how they're going to do it. We've got more money in the pipeline, and I do not believe that this money all comes from the state. We have gotten some directly from opioid administrators. And you know, Attorney General has got, where he sued Kroger outside of the opioid settlement, which in itself may run to, you know, in Kentucky, to hundreds of millions of dollars. So, I don't know. I mean, we're looking for ideas to try to communicate positive things and get kids and others off negative. So,
Well, I call for
I don't know what
question
the
then.
solution is, but we're trying
Already
to
called
do it.
question?
No, stop.
Measure downs. I mean,
I called
Magistrate
That's okay.
Hawkins here.
I think when the offer was given to vote it down, and this is putting these two things together. Of course, I support the health department. The LaGrange downtown sign for $50,000. We even, I think, at one point took off the corner sign, the sign that says parking or whatever it says, to put a digital sign. There was pushback from the LaGrange community, so we put that wooden sign back up. But I think that the location for this is, it says downtown, kind of adjoining the historic part of downtown, I think. Is that kind of the intention? Right there in the corner, right out here?
Well, we're not part of the historic district.
Right. It would be on the, I think, catty corner. But I think keeping these two together and refusing to separate it is like what some of our legislatures in Frankfurt or Washington, D.C. get criticized for when they vote against something because it's got maybe a little extra what they call pork or different things in it. And so that's what I'm going to do here. And I'm not supporting the health department. However, there's a portion of this that I don't personally think that we need more digital signs, especially close to historic LaGrange. And so I may get criticized for that, but I think we should separate the two motions. It's kind of lumping one in hopes to get the vote for the other one. I do support the health department, but not this as a package motion.
Judge, not to step on Stephanie's shoes, so I don't want to start an argument here, but question was called for. So we need to go ahead and vote on the question to stop debate. If nobody wants to stop debate, then we can go ahead
All right.
and vote on that.
So I have some information I think you need that would answer your questions.
Right, but question was called for, so debate
I understand.
ends.
My hand's been raised for probably 10 minutes.
Okay,
so
I
this
haven't
way.
looked this way. Go ahead, Magistrate Woosley.
Okay.
So nothing
Your
matters
question was
then.
about Credible Mind, the website that the health department's going to use. It's actually a portal for folks to go to. Other health departments in the area are using it. It gives folks in crisis the means to look up the information. So that's the Credible Mind. The law enforcement training, there is a conference in Tennessee in 2025 that we would like to send county police officers, sheriff's department, and somebody from the jail to this training, and it's opioid-specific training. So that's the law enforcement training. The promotion of 988 crisis prevention line is the health department's. They're going to make a push for getting this information out using what's happening and other means of communication that we're sending out as a county. So this is their way of putting out what 988 is. As far as the signs go, this came through committee this morning and it passed, and I'm all for the signs because I think, just like we're sitting here, and somebody may be sitting at this light here, or somebody may be coming down 329 and not know what 988 is, and they could have a child in crisis at home. It gets you immediately to a counselor that will be able to talk you through your crisis. If you call 911, that's a possibility. But if our folks, once they recognize that it's a mental health crisis, they're going to transfer you to 988. So it really cuts out our middleman at 911 and gets you directly into the 988 mental health crisis. So and using this money for those signs is no different than using drug forfeiture money to buy police cars that you're also using for patrol in county or cities. So there's nothing against not using money for these signs. And it's a good opportunity. It's going to not cost our taxpayers anything, and it's a good way for us to communicate different messages. We've got one in we got one in Buckner, we've got one in Goshen, and it's a good opportunity to get one in LaGrange and Crestwood so that the message can get sent out.
They already have.
That's all I got, Judge.
Judge, thank you for, Kevin, thank you for that explanation, but if we're going to follow parliamentary procedures, we need to follow them. If we're not, then we just need to just do a free-for-all up here.
Let's give everybody a chance to speak.
Well, you can do that. You
Okay,
can vote
could
down
call for
the
question at
question
this point.
and still keep
I didn't
debate.
look that way to give anybody on that side of the table a chance to speak. You know, I mean, I can only look one way at a time.
I understand.
Okay,
But
so
we-
you're calling
but
for
we
the
argued back and forth,
Are you
and
calling
then-
for the question now?
Well, it doesn't mean, it's over now. Let's call for a vote.
Withdraw your vote.
Are you withdrawing your call for the question?
Then I withdraw my question, and then let's just call for a vote then.
I've got a semantics question, Judge.
Anyone else that would like to speak?
I just have a question, a technical question. Does Crestwood still have the money from the COVID money that we gave them for a sign?
We didn't give them money, they had money. They have a sign, it's in storage.
They have a sign, it's in storage. So are you saying with that sign that's in storage, we would also be giving $50,000 for another Crestwood digital sign that would probably go in storage?
No, we're not giving this money to Crestwood. This is fiscal court money. And I have a property owner down there that, you know, I'm in negotiations with and feel optimistic about. Crestwood wants to use their sign at Maples Park. Why they have never brought it out of the box is beyond me. I mean, I have no idea. You know, I think but we've asked them to be, they could have coordinated the sign they have at Maples Park with our signs. They have the same messages run on it. They've chosen to go a different route entirely. Okay, that was their prerogative, but we offered to let them. We have the ability to simultaneously have the same message throughout North Prospect and Buckner, or different messages at different locations. For example, we're about to put something on there about Oldham County High School, but it has to do with somebody there winning an award or something. I've forgotten exactly what it is. Do you remember what it is?
It was their homecoming parade.
Okay, the homecoming parade, that's what it is. Well, we're not going to put that on the sign at North Oldham because, you know.
Had to rub salt in somebody's wound.
Right, but we can separate it out like that without a problem, or run the same message everywhere. So. Okay.
Do you have a question?
I'll
You have a
cool
question
my
here?
jets here.
I need to cool mine.
Sometimes it takes the comments of others to influence myself. Magistrate Woosley, you get the comment of the day because you're making the comment about the police cars buying them with ABC funds, and they don't pull over drunk drivers 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So I get that. That will sway my view. But I just, I think that part of the issue I have with this money, all encompassing, is the same thing with the CARES money and everything else that we got. They're dumping this pot of money in our laps, but they don't tell us how to spend it. And some of us, I think most of us don't want to be extremely careful how we spend it, because we don't want to have the next conversation with the auditor or the AG's office because we spent the money incorrectly. And I still say, and I have told this to CAECO people, I've told this to Magistrate Logston, with this money, we're flying the plane and we're seeing how it flies. Oh, doesn't fly well, so we're landing it, making some changes. It's just scary that there's not a defined set of guidelines as to how we should spend the money.
Well, I agree with you that then, that's a good point. But the fact of the matter is, there's 3,000 plus other counties in this country that have exactly the same.
Oh, it's a nationwide problem. It's
We're
not an
all
Oldham County problem.
trying to
Yeah.
figure it
Judge.
out. So
Judge.
any good faith effort is probably not going to get, unless you just took and did something totally different with it. Huh?
Judge,
Yeah, we have a sheet from Keiko about opioid settlement funds, and many of these things require communication. I mean, it's just, we did have someone come today, and I won't say who, ask for something, and our committee said, no, this does not qualify for these funds. So, but it was a legitimate issue that had to do with medical care for people, but it had nothing to do with trying to push back against opioid abuse and other things. So we did that. So, all right. Well, Holly, you want to call the roll, please? Oh yeah, right. Right. Holly brought up a good point. We've had Barry working on. He's worked with Operation Parent, and we'll have another one with the Health Department, a memorandum of understanding of what they are going to accomplish, and then we'll have, requirements that they furnish the information that shows us to what extent they met the requirements or exceeded them. So we have an agreement that Barry will be preparing. He had one for Operation Parent. We'll have another one here that it'll probably start to work its way toward a boiler point, but who does something and what have they done, how have they accomplished it? And one thing I also wanted to mention about the law enforcement here, see if everybody agrees with this. They suggested this training in Nashville for law enforcement, for police, sheriff, dispatch, magistrates. They also had LaGrange put in there, okay? We had a question, should we cover LaGrange or not? I asked John this morning, LaGrange only got $34,000. So it costs about $900 to send somebody to this conference. And so if it's all right with everybody, I thought, well, we could include LaGrange in ours. They are county taxpayers, do pay city tax, or city people do pay county taxes as well. Would that be all right? It's not a huge amount of money, but they don't have too much to work with there. So, okay, Holly, go ahead.
Judge?
Yes, sir.
Hold on one second. You just said that they're going, that Operation Parent's going to prepare a what? They're going
No,
to,
we had for Operation Parent a memorandum of agreement as to what they were going to do and try to accomplish.
okay, all right.
Okay.
Now, then, these things here, I'm not exactly sure. I mean, you said we got $800,000. We're going to spend $200,000 of it here.
197,
Okay, 197, 246.
Three.
243.
And we're going to be getting some kind of money for the next 20 years?
18.
18 years. It looks like to me there's, I think what Manager Hounds has said, somebody came along and they're going to spank these drug companies for what they did. And then they said, well, okay, we'll settle, we'll get off your back for X number of dollars. And they all agreed on X number of dollars. But I don't think, from what I've heard about it from national news and what we've talked about it in the conferences, I don't think anybody's really come up with an idea on how to spend this money to solve, they identified the problem. I think the problem is already here. So I just, I think I can just see that, this might be a good purchase of these things. But I'm going to have to tell you, I don't think the well of creativity is that deep to come up with more things for the next 18 years. I mean, there's got to be somebody that says, these are the 25 things that you should do with this money. And you said Keiko has something like that.
Well, they've given us a sheet as to what,
Well, that's the
there's,
start.
these aren't what things they could do, it's just what, what you can, the parameters of different programs. It goes on for a couple pages here. But you're right, it has to be filled in with some creative approach. Now, everybody here has seen the device, I believe, that you attach to your ear, go somewhere, attach it to your ear, and you're supposed to be, in a week, no longer addicted to something, I guess. A few counties have put money into that program. Okay, let's say, decide they won't try that. Eventually, if that works, the rest of us are going to find out about it.
All right.
But right now, it's like $5,000 a person to send them for this week-long treatment. So, we want to see if that works at all. If it does work, I imagine that a lot of people will be getting on it.
That goes without saying, but to me, I feel like we won an $800,000 lottery, okay? And we all bought, the fiscal court, we all bought tickets for this lottery, say, hey, we got $800,000, and the next thing out of my mouth is, what the hell are we gonna spend it on? And then everybody's got all these great ideas. I'm not exactly sure that we've done our homework, our due diligence to come up. I'm not saying that any of these things are good or bad.
Well, we're welcome to, if you can generate
No,
an
don't-
idea to pursue,
No,
we'll be
no,
happy to do it.
There's got to be people smarter. I'm not the person.
There is people smarter than you.
Yeah, yes. But what I'm saying, Judge, is somebody said to these drug companies, you give us this money and then we're going to let you off the hook. We're going to let you off the PR
Well,
hook.
I don't know.
No.
What is. I mean, we're just at the end of the pipeline here, and this is coming, there's more coming. But, so it's up to us to find something reasonable to do with it or give it back, I guess.
If we're going to do a memorandum of understanding with these things, then I think that's where the rubber has to hit the road. If somebody,
Right.
we should write any checks to anybody that we know exactly what we're
Oh,
getting
no,
for
we're
our
going
money.
to have accountability from everybody, and we're looking for a report from Operation Parent as to what, and I think they've had a video made of what they've done. So Daryl Bramer should come back and tell us exactly what happened there.
Are the signs going to be able to give us that information?
We'll be able to tell you how many times we put 988 on that sign, though.
Okay.
And we will. We'll hit it hard.
Okay.
I agree.
I'm being a smart
I know.
aleck, and I know
I
that.
know.
I apologize.
I know.
It was not.
I know. Okay, let's take our.
No apology needed.
All in favor, okay, go ahead. You want to do a voice vote or all in favor? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Opposed.
Thank you, motion carries. All right, let's go on to the next item here, which is the closing of some bank accounts.
Yes, thank you, Judge. In Finance Committee today, the CFO brought to our attention that we have a couple of pretty much dormant accounts that he'd like to close. One of them is the ARPA funds, and I pulled it up, and it shows a zero balance, has for a while. So we'd like to close that account. We don't anticipate receiving any more ARPA funds. That's a sarcasm. And then the other account that we have, and it makes sense, is the Harmony CAP. And Mr. Silliman gave us what's CAP stand for? I'm sorry. Capital Corrective Action Plan? Thank you. Okay. And basically that money we're going to roll it into the general fund because that's going to be an ongoing maintenance of the Harmony Dam. And when that money runs out, guess what? It's going to come out of the general fund. So in our mind, it makes sense to put those funds in the general fund.
Wait, can I interrupt? Is that going to be for stormwater use or?
No, it's only for Harmony Dam.
When it turns over stormwater use?
No,
Okay.
And that's in perpetuity.
it's for perpetuity, yes. So
How much is in there?
we would close the ARPA funds account with a zero balance.
Okay.
And the Harmony CAP fund, as of distribution of the August bank financial or financial statements has $175,633 and 70 something cents, but Apple's chosen not to show me that number.
The sense.
So you're basically taking the money that came out of the general fund and went into that account, that bank account, right?
No, sir. The money that came into the cap fund, if I remember correctly, and Stan's not here, but as I remember, that is the money that was left over from OSEA that was guaranteed to continue the maintenance on the Harmony Dam until it ran out, right, Jim? Or am I screwing that up?
No.
Okay.
Just a little more specifics, but it was part of the MSD transfer, and there were funds. Some of those were used to purchase the 3 properties to take them out of the inundation area.
Okay.
So that dam is no longer classified as high hazard. There were a couple other items that were identified that need to be completed over the period of several years. They were
Tree
less
removal.
critical. Tree removals, the siphon doesn't operate correctly, and so it's the corrective action plan to address a few remaining items. But again, they're not as critical because the dam is no longer classified as high hazard. But what Stan was, or you or Stan, I think were saying is that we can put that money into the general fund, not have a separate account, and we still can complete that corrective action plan in the near future.
So you're gonna put the cap as a line item.
It will be. It is a line
It
item
currently
today.
is.
It currently
Yes.
is a line item in the budget.
Okay, I don't know, okay.
Yep. So I'd like to make the motion that we close the ARPA account, close the Harmony cap account, and move those funds into the general fund.
Second.
In discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Now we'll get on to personnel actions, and Tina Schaaf is here, I believe, and she complied with the suggestion of pink.
I know, we got the same shade.
Good afternoon. Before you all this afternoon are, let's see, we have a contract renewal for the police department. We have Todd Maggart or Stephen Maggart, $34.41 at the base hourly rate, and he's under contract, and that contract is attached there.
I'll make
For
the
you all.
motion that we approve the contract.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. See, we have a resignation here. We don't have to vote on that, but go ahead.
You do not. It is Austin Wagner. He was hired at Animal Control, and it was not a good fit, so that he resigned last week on the 9th.
All right.
So.
Next, I have some board appointments here. Code Enforcement Board. I'd like to reappoint Steve Bailey to a term that would go till October 16th of 2027.
Second.
Second.
Okay. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Also to the Ambulance Taxing Board, reappoint Joan Bryant for a term that would go on until September 4th of 2026.
I'll second that.
Okay. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
I have a question on that,
Yes, sir.
Judge. Can you serve on a taxing board and be on the city council at the same time?
Yes, one's an appointment, one's an election.
Okay, that was on that question.
Is she on city council somewhere? What city?
Crestwood.
She's the wife of the,
She's, yeah.
yeah, the wife of the man who died.
Oh, well, she must have just, was she appointed to take his place?
5 or
Yes.
6 months.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Barry, you know about that? I was unaware of that myself.
You got people that have been on city council and been on the fire board.
Yeah.
We had a member of the city council that you appointed
It was just a question.
to the fire board.
I wouldn't think that they're in conflict in some way, because one can't really.
You can't
touch
do 2 elected positions, but you can do, I think, an appointed and an elected position, I believe.
Barry can
Like
just look
Bob
at it
with
and
the-
tell us.
Aren't you on?
Well, okay, we'll let us know if there's a problem, we'll correct it. Okay, thank you. All right, I guess we're at our final public comments.
Did we vote
Anybody
on
like to say anything? Okay.
Good afternoon, Judge, Magistrates. Todd Prayer with Public Services. I just wanted to come up and say thank you. I like to think there's two big reasons for the vote. Number one, service, and number two, our partnership over the years. I was talking with Becky the other day, talking about just with the residents and the unincorporated part of the county. We're lifting up at least 73,000 containers a month just in the residents. And Becky says she has less than 1% like complaints. So that's room for improvement, right? There is some room there, and we'll strive to do that. Tony and I have also talked about, we feel like we're participating in several things in the county, but we'd like to increase that even more. So we'll be looking at different ways to do that as well. I'd like to come up and shake everybody's hand at the end of the meeting, but I'm going to drive to Grayson to see my daughter's last home game at Kentucky Christian University.
All right, well,
So
good.
again,
Good luck.
thank you all very much, and
All
you all know
right.
how to get a hold of me.
All right, congratulations, Todd. We expect you to continue doing a good job, and I'm sure you will. All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Anyone else like to address the fiscal court? Seeing no one, we'll close public comment and see if we can wind up today's meeting with any final thoughts. Magistrate Likens?
Thank you, Judge. I don't have much, just everybody have a safe Halloween. We have a 3-week jump between this fiscal court meeting and the next one, which will be Election Day. And I really hate that they're going to stop showing these political ads because I kind of look forward to seeing those every 3 minutes.
Nice.
All right, thank you. Magistrate Tice?
I had one thing that was on my mind as we went through and we approved the resolution for CNS. I'm not sure we stated the number on the resolution, but I'm sure Holly would do that as she puts it in the minutes. So it's just something I thought and just now wanted to make sure we did.
Okay.
That's all.
All right, thank you. Magistrate Woosley?
Judge, on October 7th, there was an air evac medical helicopter crashed in Owen County that took the life of 3, a flight medic, a pilot, and a flight nurse. Just wanted to keep those families in our prayers. The sheriff mentioned this earlier, but there's a DEA drug take back on October 22nd from 10 to 2 at the Fire Station 2 in Buckner, Oldham County Police Department headquarters, and the LaGrange Kroger. Parks related, the Skeleton 5K and the Trunk or Treat is this Saturday from 11 to 1. We need vehicles, so if anybody's available, we'll have candy provided. Just need to show up and open up your trunk. And then finally, this afternoon, Superintendent Jason Radford announced his retirement effective June 30th, 2025, and just wanted to wish him well.
Oh.
Look at the judge.
Didn't know that.
I didn't know.
You do now.
Today?
It's effective June 30th, 2025.
When did he announce today?
All right,
Today. He announced
okay.
today.
Okay.
Next
All right.
school year.
This
Magistrate
end of this
Jeffries?
year.
Yes, sir. Just a couple things. Zach Wilt and his folks, EMA, put on an outstanding program last night down at Waldeck Farm at Crestwood. They had a plane, a crashed plane that they brought in and kind of hit on the farm, and then they brought in the first responders and the drone team, and several magistrates were there, and it was just an outstanding evening. I mean, I got to, not being involved, a lot with the fire departments over the years, it was really nice to see, how they do their job and what they do and how serious they take it. So I just wanted to thank Zach and his folks and all the first responders that participated in that training last night. I thought it was an outstanding night and seemed like hopefully, those folks got a lot out of it, and I know I did. Had a real bad fire here back on October 10th in my district out at Ballard Woods. Doug and Sandra Axman lost their home completely. It burned to the ground other than just the brick standing. So Gustavo's here in LaGrange is going to have a fundraiser tomorrow night. I think 30% of the proceeds will be donated to that family. So, if you're going to be going out to dinner tomorrow night and, stop by and like I say, they're going to be donating 30% to that family to help them recover from that total loss of their home. So, Judge, that's all I have.
All right, thank you. Magistrate Helms?
Yes, thank you, Judge. To kind of echo what Magistrate Jeffrey said, emergency services had there was a task force training that was put on yesterday. I believe, I'm just trying to run the names through my head. I believe every fire department was there, EMS was there, Not necessarily something per se that law enforcement would be involved. They would have an involvement if there were down aircraft for sure. But it was more of a search thing. We did have the drone team up, flying 2 drones during the whole evolution, providing not only a spotlight, believe it or not, the light on the drone is pretty powerful and works very well at 100 feet. That was pretty nice to see yesterday, and having those people, thanks to the Waldeck folks for letting us use the property. I brought before the court several months ago smoke detector ordinance, and I'm going to bring it back. Part of the thing over the month of October is I lost my train of thought. Fire Safety Month, and the theme this year has been smoke alarms. And as Magistrate Jeffries pointed out, there were smoke alarms that went off on that house and alerted the occupants to get out of the building, to get out of the house. There was a fire of some folks that my daughter goes to school with that happened about a month ago, and the fire alarms and the fire smoke detectors in that house alerted the residents to get out. That house that burned was at 2 o'clock in the morning, woke people up. If they wouldn't have had those working smoke detectors, don't even want to think about what could have happened. It's a very simple ordinance to put the smoke detectors in when a property changes hands. It's being done in other counties, and I think it's something that Oldham County needs to step up with and support. I greatly appreciate the emails and the text messages that I got about the folks wearing pink, and I think it's a tribute to show that Oldham County, that the fiscal court cares, to show that we do support causes, and it's something very simple. We are going to be doing the food drive again this year. Last year we did I believe it was about 425 pounds of food. We collected for 2 weeks. The plan is to start the 1st of November and go maybe into December, but for sure during the month of November, and see if we can't outdo the little over 400 pounds. It's very simple. I'm happy to go shopping for people. I don't mind taking donations, but it doesn't have to be me. It can be anybody. I've gotten donations from people that have been here at Fiscal Court, have given me money already to say, hey, here's $20, go buy food. I'm happy to do that. And High Point has been the recipient of that. I know there's other food organizations that may also like to get some of those donations. I'm happy to disperse it out, not just to High Point, but I do think that High Point does a very good job with that. And with their new kitchen, it gives them the ability to showcase that also. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Magistrate Hawkins.
I wanted to bring this up to Magistrate Hounds while it's fresh on my mind, and he was just talking about it. So I've asked this with a couple of firefighters, but I lived in Florida for a decade, and our local fire department there in the little town that I lived in would give out fire smoke detectors, and I think they also had the CO2 detectors in it. And I think that would be something that we could do. And it wasn't like I think maybe that they do that if you can't afford one now, or I think I've heard that a firefighter will come in and put it in your house if you need them to. But I know, like, for us, I don't know if there was one when we moved in or not. I think there was, but just saying, okay, today, like, instead of it being on the list, today we're going to the park, we're going to meet with the firefighters, we're going to get a smoke detector, and then we come home. It's like taking that from your list to actually doing it, having a community, if you need a smoke detector, come get it. So that might be, I'm just saying publicly, something that we may want to do. But I was also at that training last night, and it was really cool to see kind of everybody, how they come together, how it's organized. It's so much more advanced with the drones and the computer systems and stuff now and the apps than it was, say, if anybody's been on a search and rescue mission. It's looking how we used to do it compared to how we do it now. It's come such a long way, and it was kind of cool to see how we do it now. And so thanks to Zach for hosting us last night and putting it on. And that's all I have today, Judge.
Thank you. Magistrate Dye.
Thank you, Judge. It was already brought up that next time we're sitting in here, it will be Election Day. And I won't be able to give you my message to tell you to go vote, so I'm going to tell you now. go vote. I'm sure there's going to be a bigger crowd than there normally is. And we have made the county clerk's office, they have made voting easier. You can go early. I think the absentee has already passed, but you don't have to wait till the last day and stand in line. So pick your people, go vote. And if you don't vote, don't come back and complain about how things are. This is your solemn right to do this, and everybody should vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Magistrate Logston.
So when you're at the end of the line, there's not a whole lot to say because everybody's stole your thunder. But I'm going to bring up one thing because maybe people need to learn parliamentary procedures again. So when you have two magistrates, fellow magistrates, which will be friends after this, but when they basically thumb their nose when you call for a question and they just keep talking, I just think that's wrong. The procedure goes that once somebody calls for a question, and Barry, if I'm wrong, please correct me. But when you call for a question, that debate stops. It ends. Then you vote on that, whether you want to end that debate. Now, if you vote on it and you vote it down, then guess what? You get to keep debating. But if you don't, that debate ends and you go for the vote, for the original vote. So I just wanted to let people know that, you can still keep arguing after somebody calls for a question. You just got to vote on whether you're going to keep arguing or not. So that's all I had to say.
Well, let me ask you this. Can you just interject anytime you feel like saying call for the question, or do you have to be recognized and have your turn to speak before you ask to call for the
Judge,
question?
I
Or
don't know if that's...
Can you just bust into the conversation and make your statement anytime you feel like making it?
Well, if that's the case, then I'll raise my hand, then call for question then.
Well, I'm not sure you were recognized when you tried to call for the question.
Well, sometimes everybody likes to talk up here and just hear themselves talk. And sometimes nothing gets said.
Okay.
Judge,
Does call for the question require a second?
Judge, can you recognize me?
Okay.
All right, I'm calling for the question about this whole question.
Okay, all right.
All right, let's call for vote.
All right. You have to be seconded,
The
right?
question has to be seconded.
It has to be seconded. Okay. Let me. We'll stop in just a second here. Very soon, we'll be sending out a statement. People ask, where are we on the animal control? Where are we on the church? Where are we on the park? We'll be sending out a little report here soon, so give everybody an update exactly where we are to get everybody on the same page. We're not looking for ways to spend money, but a question I've been asked, really kind of on a frequent basis, kind of surprisingly, recently, is where are we going to park everybody when we open the courthouse? And so if we don't have a parking garage in downtown LaGrange, but we may need to build one sometime here in the next few years, because everybody's wondering where they're going to park. And our parking lot at 2nd and Main will only hold so many cars. And when the courthouse opens, everyone is going to have to go through the front door. No more back doors or side doors, or everybody's going to go through a magnetometer or whatever they call it at the front door. So all that traffic is going to come from that Main Street direction to get in there. So if you want to think about building a parking garage in the future, you can mull it over for a while.
Judge, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
This new courthouse, you're not going to have any more business over there than you had in the old one, are you?
I believe we could, because we do have a Court of Appeals office in there. There are 4 courtrooms. I guess, Barry, would you take a stab at that? Do you think it'll be the same volume of business, or could it be increased?
We'll probably have the same volume of business. I think the issue does get to be with the doors being on Main Street, that people are going to be more inclined to want to park over on the Main Street side, for sure.
Yeah.
And we're not losing any parking places, are we?
No, it's just that people were using our lot over here, our lot across the street, and going in what we used to refer to as the back door was really almost the front door. But now everybody will have to use the front door. And, this courthouse is built for the next 300 years. I mean, this county's going to grow. There's going to be more activity. 4 courtrooms in the building.
Well, let's build the parking garage 50 years from now, okay?
Okay, well,
Got a question.
all right.
Did we-
One more, okay.
Did we decide on paint colors for this building yet?
No, I think that was another discussion we had. The only direction I thought I was given was to come up with what the white that was on the courthouse to get a computer model of what that white would look like on the painted portions of our building. I don't believe there's any, at one time I did get a computer design of this entire building is white, but I think no one wanted to pursue that. So, but the paint, we're gonna repaint the, woodwork and the outside stuff, so what would it look like? It was the same color, and we have found out the exact color match of the building. Now, maybe people won't want it, or they want a little different shade, but we're gonna come up with that pretty quick, because I think they want to paint this fall or wait till spring.
So you'll email that rendering out?
Yes. Okay. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.